of Greater Thoughts, is also a motivational speaker and a mind coach, helping you to untrap your mind. In order to elevate your team, your organization, or your business, visit Robert Collins on theuntrappedmind.com or follow him on Instagram at Greater7Thoughts. That's greater, the number 7 thoughts. Robert Collins says, all success starts with a thought. Now turn that thought into action and go be great.
Good morning. Good morning. It is your host, Mr. RC. Once again, I must tell you, you guys know what I love to do. I want to make sure that you understand that my appreciation is with you. My gratitude is with you. I know that you could be doing anything at 8 a.m. other than listening to me. You could be in the house making breakfast and talking to your whoever. You could be not riding in the car listening to me. You could be doing anything. Who knows? But today you choose to listen to me. We're still in Mental Health Awareness Month, y'all. And this is the 4th episode of the month. We had myself and Ty Bradford talking about how it is as men and our mental health. We had Miss Ebony Michelle from the Proud the Lab. Well, Proud the Lab, I have to say that the correct way. I had Reverend Mack again from the NAACP. And then this week, I bring you guys Miss Cheryl McFadden. Hey, Miss Cheryl, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Miss Cheryl is right here in Charlotte. She's the owner and CEO of Mind Changing Solutions, and she's a therapist and many other things by certification. She has a lot of letters and acronyms, y'all. But I bring her in today to talk about mental health once again. So I'm very, very excited about the conversation. Miss Cheryl, how you feeling this morning?
I am feeling well.
Now, I've been talking about this. We ask that question and then we usually get an answer back that's surface level.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a surface level answer or is that the real deal? You're doing well.
That's the real deal today.
That's good. That's good. So in mental health, a lot of times, we think about people that have issues. And, I've come to learn a lot, especially since I've become a certified peer support specialist. I don't speak the way, yes, I don't speak the way that I used to speak about people that seem to have what I would have used to call problems. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even say it like disabilities or things of that nature. I would have been like, man, they got problems or they crazy,
Mm-hmm.
But I've come to learn that that's not the way anymore.
Right.
And so when it comes to mental health, what are some things that you would say to look for in a person to see if they need help?
Well, the best way to tell if a person needs help is, for me, is to ask them. Ask that person if they're okay. Ask them like different questions. Are you okay? How are you feeling? Get them to talk. Especially if it's a person you should be able to pick up something that they may not be okay. And I'm doing the air quotes. Just listen to them. And a lot of times people will tell you how they're doing. If there's something going on in their life and you suspect that it may be causing a problem for them, talk about whatever it is that's going on in their life, whatever you may know. But the main thing is to ask them the question and listen.
Listening.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough for a lot of us.
It's tough for a lot of us, but that's what we need to do.
So let me ask you this. Before I get into too deep into asking a whole bunch of questions, Mind Changing Solutions. Mm-hmm. Tell the world how they can find out about Mind Changing Solutions.
You can go online. Mind Changing Solutions is my the first company that I opened. We deal with mental health and substance use disorder, among some other things. We have Facebook. We're on all the social medias, and it's Mind Changing Solutions, or MCS, and that's how you find us. We're on. You can Google us and whatever.
So we'll jump into it later. But you said that's the first company you opened. How many companies do you have?
Well, I've helped other people open companies, but right now I have two.
And what's the other one?
The other one is Concept of Care. It's a home care company.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So does that delve into the mind to the mental health
Yes.
as well?
Yes. Yes. Because I have clients who, the home care company has clients who have disabilities. They need help in their home with all of the activities of daily living. And sometimes people have a problem with adjusting to their new way of life or
Yeah.
having somebody to help them out and, having to have somebody to help them out. Sometimes that's hard to adjust to.
So that's here in Charlotte. Do
Yes.
you assist people that are in South Carolina as well, since we're so
Yes,
close?
we have I have my South Carolina license, so I do see people in South Carolina also.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. So now you guys know mindchangesolutions.com. Make sure you guys get on there. Um, I want to ask this question. In the Black community, all right, I'm gonna go there with you.
Okay.
In the Black community, I think that we look at psychiatrists, therapists as like you don't go there because you got problems.
Mhm.
How do you fight that stigma?
Um, if you broke your leg, would you go talk to the pastor? Would you go talk
Yeah,
to
you
your
ask the pastor to
sister?
pray for you.
Okay, but what else would you do?
Me, I'm gonna use that insurance that I have and take my
Okay.
behind to the
You're
doctor.
gonna go to the doctor. If you have a pounding headache that you can't get rid of, what are you gonna do?
Hopefully, go to the doctor.
Okay. I believe that my God gave some of us the wisdom, the courage, the ability to learn. He gave us the power to help other people through that stuff. So take it to God, pray about it and stuff, but then go see a therapist. Go talk to somebody.
Okay. So, do you suggest therapy for youth, or do you suggest it for the middle aged person, or the 75, 80-year-old person that say I'm at the end part of my life, I don't need therapy? What do you think about that?
I think everybody could benefit from therapy. Everybody can benefit from somebody helping them to see another way, see something different, something that's outside of them. Um, what we know everything that we know. We only know what we know. And sometimes somebody else looking from the outside or somebody else who has the education, the certifications, the license, whatever, sometimes that person can help you to think about things different. It may not be, it might be not, it's probably not the end of the world. How most of the time when we have a problem, we think it could get to the point where we think it's at the end of the world, but it's not. It don't have to be.
That's good. Something
Work
that I've
through it.
something I've come to learn here, or notice as a trend over the last couple of years, and me taking the month of mental health to really focus in on it, is that people have that I've sat with and learned from have all come from a situation that is the reason that they decided to go into mental health therapy. Is that the same for you? Was there something that triggered you, maybe in youth or at some point in time, that made you decide that therapy was the way to go for you as a business and a way of living life?
I think I've always been the type that I want to help somebody. Um, if there's something that somebody need, I try to come to their aid or whatever. I've had to learn that I can only help so much. They have to want my help in order for me to help them. But that's something I've always done. I can remember being in middle school, and one of my classmates was telling me something about what was going on with her at home, and I decided to listen. And I remember this our gym teacher. We were in gym, and we had to walk around the field, and I didn't hear that if you're last, you have to go around again. I didn't hear that because I was listening to this young lady in my class. And when I got back around, the teacher was like, you have to go again because you're last. And I was like, I didn't hear that. So, I've always paid attention to other people.
Okay.
Growing up, uh, in families, especially the Black families, like we used to have several generations in a household. My grandparents used to watch us while my parents worked, and I had uncles and cousins and all of that. And I remember, now that I look back at it, I can remember seeing some symptoms from family members. I remember growing up, my dad used to drink excessively. Now that I realize what it is, I remember he used to drink, and I thought everybody did. He drink.
Mhm.
I didn't pay too much attention to it, but um, just growing the way I grew up and having a helping nature, it's just something that when I realized about therapy or whatever, I just said that's what I want to do.
What? So, do you have a therapist yourself?
I have had a therapist. I have people who I can call. I have a network. I have been in therapy before. Yes,
How important is the network?
network is important. Network is really important, especially for a therapist. A therapist needs somebody. You get all this stuff from everybody else, bring you their stuff. You need to have an outlet um, with people like myself, people who can help me process through some of the stuff. Um, I think you need to have a person who you go talk to on a regular basis. I think everybody needs that, even if you only talk to a therapist or once a month or whatever. I think everybody needs that. It will help everybody. Um, my network, like I said, is built of other people who do the same thing that I do, and we bounce things off of each other. We're there for each other.
I always wonder about therapists having therapists because, in my mindset, it's like you're really sitting there eating and digesting, chewing all of everybody else's problems.
Hmm.
So if I take on everybody else's problems from a listening standpoint,
Hmm.
at what point does it start to take effect on me?
Well, we have problems too.
What I'm saying,
I'm
not
a
only do you
person.
have your problems,
Yeah.
but you listening
And
to
I'm listening to
everybody else's problems.
right, right,
How do
right,
you navigate through that?
right, right.
So it's the network.
It's the network that works for me.
So what do you feel about people that say, and I think this is a big thing that youth for youth, they just self medicate in a sense. How do you feel about self medicating?
Does it work?
It doesn't work.
No, I'm saying, I'm asking, I'm putting it out there. Does it work?
Oh, okay. So you asked the question
I'm asking
back.
the question, does it work?
Honestly, I feel as though at points in my life, it has worked. And then there's been points in my life where I probably should have went to go talk to somebody about the things that I have gone through or seen.
Hmm.
Um, but I feel that myself medicating, sitting in my room listening to my music, or at one point in time when I was a drinker, drinking, or at
Okay.
one point in time in my life when I smoked a little marijuana, smoking some weed and relaxing, that was my self medicating.
It probably depends on what you use to self
So
medicate,
that's
because
true.
sometimes you use alcohol or other drugs, and that causes another problem. You think it's solving that problem, it might solve that problem for a little bit, get your mind off of it,
Mhm.
but the problem is still there. And now you got a new problem.
Come on, let's talk about that. What do you? How do you feel about that?
I think I'm not a proponent of, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. It never appealed to me. Um, I think some people are even taking prescription medication. Sometimes that is a way of getting through something, but I feel like you still need some work. You still need somebody to talk to. Sometimes, somebody can give you another way of, or help you process through it, think through it, or give you some tools to use. I don't know everything. I would never know everything, because every time I learn something, something else comes up. They got new drugs every day. They
Yeah.
got new stuff. And so I don't know everything. So I go to other people and we pick each other's brains, and I study and I research and try to figure out what's going on. Excuse me. How to work something out. But I mean, just
Here's something I'd like to know. What's your hot spot right now? If there's an area of mental health, what's your hot spot?
My hot spot right now is psychosis. You see so many people walking around looking like zombies, and people talking to themselves, and uh, psychosis. There's psychosis out here with uh I see it like driving down different streets. I see a lot of people, and
You
you
can
can
go to
tell
Sugar
that
Creek.
they're Sugar Creek Road. Oh my God. It's just, Charlotte is full of people with psychosis now. And you see these people out just walking around.
Do me a favor. I don't want to go into this too deep. For the listener that doesn't know psychology words,
Okay.
What is psychosis?
A lot of people think that psychosis means you're have schizophrenia or something like that. Psychosis is a symptom of a mental health disorder, and that so psychosis can be it can be linked to bipolar disorder. It can be linked to schizophrenia. Depression causes psychosis, or causes you to have psychotic symptoms. Substance use. I think that a lot of what we're seeing, like if I go to Sugar Creek Road or some of the other places, that is, but probably is a lot of substance induced psychosis. But psychosis can be linked to health issues.
Really?
Yes. Traumatic brain injuries. It could be linked to Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's disease. It's a lot of things, a lot of health issues that um, can cause, like psychosis. It could be one of the symptoms of that. Um, a lot of people don't realize that there's a psychosis that comes after childbirth.
For the child or for the mother?
For the mother. Postnatal psychosis. There's a postnatal psychosis. Um, like a lot of times people say, they'll say the mom is having postpartum depression.
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
familiar with postpartum syndrome.
Some of the symptoms could be just like, it's psychotic.
So when you talk about those people, I try to be very serious with this. A lot of times, I think when I think of psychosis, or I don't want to go all the way and say psychotic, but a person in psychosis, you think of the person that you see that's been on fentanyl, and it's like they got that lean, they're hanging over. When I think psychosis, I think of a person that's out of their mind.
Right.
Is that fair to think that way? Or is that out of context?
Sometimes. So to be transparent.
Please. We love transparency on the Greater Thoughts show.
Okay.
We like you to keep it funky.
Okay. I had an experience with psychosis. My dad died.
Okay.
One of the most important people in my life. I got a phone call one day that he called me one night and said, I'm going to go over to the hospital. I don't feel good. And I was like, okay, I'm coming. He was like, no, you got to go to work. You go to work. Check on me tomorrow. That next morning, they were calling everybody to the hospital because he had a blood clot. And there was nothing they could do, because the blood clot had gotten in. It was in his intestine and had killed off his large intestine. So I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I didn't want to talk to nobody. It just really took me there. And here I am, a therapist, not going to sleep, not eating, not talking to people. And I started having delusions. I was seeing things. I was hearing things. My children were worried.
And this is in one day?
No, it was about 3 weeks. It was after about 3 weeks. Mine was brought on by depression and not sleeping, not eating, all of those type of things that I was doing to my body. that was the result. Psychosis was the result.
If you're willing, we're talking about transparency here. If you will, share how did you come out of that? Because the blessing is that you're not there today, right?
Exactly.
And so that's your testimony.
Right.
But,
right.
But for the listener that's depressed right now, for the listener that's dealing with a death in their family, for the listener that's not knowing what's going on with their child right now, how did you come out of that? And if you can, you were talking about tools a minute ago. Give us some practical tools that someone can use.
So what I did, what worked for me is, one of my oldest son was like, "You need to go to the doctor. We need to get you some help, whatever." And I was like, "Oh no, I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to be around nobody." Once that started, and I know that sometimes when people experience psychosis, I say it triggers, turns on like I think most people have a gene for like schizophrenia or something like that, and it just takes something to turn it on, to flip the switch. And so I started thinking about that, and I decided to go to the doctor, and he prescribed me medication. What I know about medication, some medications are addictive. I think that some people could have addictive personalities. I don't think everybody has addictive personalities, but I think that some things happen that makes that another switch turns on. Our brains are magnificent. But I started thinking about this kind of stuff. I started thinking it, processing it. I started using some of the tools that I tell other people to use, like, what is real, what is not, like trying to distinguish between real and imaginary. I went to the doctor, he prescribed the medication, and I looked at the medication. I was like, why would he prescribe me this? At that particular time, Percocets was one of the biggest drugs, even though it was
Percocet.
Yes, even though it was prescribed to me, had I not taken it the right way, it could have caused me to have an addiction. I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking this. I'm gonna do some work. I gotta do some work. I started using some of the tools that I teach to other people. I went to a therapist, and I was able to talk through some of the things. Like I said, growing up, my dad was an alcoholic. And I thought everybody's dad was. I didn't call it alcoholism at that time.
You just having some drinks.
He just drank too much.
Okay, that's right.
And he act different when he drank.
He drank too much, that's right.
Yes. So, because he went to work every day. Went to work, he paid bills. I didn't grow up bad. I, grew up pretty good. With a house full of children, it was 6 of us.
Yes.
So we lived pretty good, and didn't know we were poor, but whatever. And it just took me to a place. I processed it with the therapist, like what growing up for me was actually how it was. My dad was a provider. My dad was not the greatest husband, but was a very good father. My dad stopped drinking probably 6 years before he died. He had stopped drinking. He was living his life. He was living a good life, a good, clean and sober life. And how dare all of a sudden he's not here anymore. Yeah. So I had to process through all of that, talk through it. Like keeping it inside was causing me to stay inward. Everything was inward.
Yes, that's good.
I had to process through it.
What are some of those tools other than going to talk to your therapist? What are some of those tools?
Talking to therapists, talking to other people about how I was feeling, taking care of myself, self-care. I started practicing self-care. Used to do it a little bit before this time, like travel or do it. Mostly I would do stuff for somebody else, wasn't really doing things for myself. What I give somebody else, I got to give myself. I got
Okay.
to take care of me.
Okay.
I need to rest. I need to sometimes turn it off.
I gotta say that. Look, y'all, she dropping jewels, and I hope you picked up what she put down. She said, "What you do for everybody else, do for
You
yourself."
have to do for yourself.
So many of us, especially when you have the nature that she does, where even as a young lady, she was listening to somebody else in school to make her have to run an extra lap. But you have to, as a caregiving person, you also have to care for yourself.
Mhm.
Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Does that include getting your nails done?
That includes getting your nails done. If that's your thing,
Yeah.
nails done, makeup, go buy you a nice pair of shoes, find a good sale somewhere.
Buy you a nice watch.
Buy you a nice watch. Whatever your thing is, be able to do it for yourself. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So psychosis, that's the thing that's your hot
That's
spot.
a hot spot because you see so many people. I can identify so many people just riding down the street with it, and it's untreated. It's untreated. It is. I feel that here in Charlotte, at least, um, and I just feel like it's all over the world. But I'm gonna talk about Charlotte.
Okay.
There's not enough attention being given to it. Um, you can have a family member, and I know people who have family members who are experiencing psychosis, and they try to get them help. And what they'll say is, if you have not been deemed where you can't, like, if somebody have not said that you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot make decisions, nobody can make you go to treatment, nobody can make you get help. Well, how do you know these people know they need the help?
That's good.
So they're just on, a lot of them are on the street, or they're in at the family's house, and they just stay there, and everybody else pay the bills and whatever, and they're just there talking and having symptoms, and all this stuff is untreated.
Yeah.
I believe the way our brain works is, if you don't get help for it, if you don't take care of it, it sticks. Like, the sooner you take care of it, that's just like an addiction. The sooner you take care of it, the more you pay attention to it and do something about it. The sooner you do something about it, you're going to get better results.
That's good.
So
you have to accept it.
you have to accept it. You have to do, and people need to be able to make some decisions. If you see, man, the young man on the train, my heart went out to him. My heart went out to the young lady and her family and everything, but my heart went out to him. The man he's been to jail how many times, and they have it written that he has psychological issues. And the first thing they'll say is, you can't make him get treatment. There's some miracle drugs out there. There's a shot. They can get that shot once a month, and they can be as normal as whatever normally their new normal.
The new norm
is. Yeah.
That's good.
But somebody has to get them there.
We have only 2 minutes left, and I'd like for you to share with us your suggestions for parents that are watching children that can use help.
My suggestion is, keep talking. Tell your story to somebody. Somebody's gonna know something that something that can help your child. Be careful what your children are seeing. Be careful what you do. Be careful what your children are, like, the environments your children are in. Be careful of those environments, and just keep talking to somebody, keep asking questions. Somebody will lead you somewhere. And if somebody give you a suggestion, try it.
That's good. That's good. So parents, I ask about the kids because a lot of parents are stuck in their way, and they can use help first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we got to bring up the next generation the right way.
Right.
And so today, make sure that you take time to ask someone how they're doing. Again, I talked about this earlier in the month. We're removing ourselves from the surface level of how you're doing, and really digging down and finding out the true essence of how a person is.
You say how you doing, and listen. Then listen.
Before we leave, I got to remind you one more thing.
Okay.
All success starts with a thought. Take your thoughts, turn them into action, and go be great. God bless. Thank you for your time today, Miss McFadden. You have a wonderful day. I appreciate you. Come back and see us again.
All right.
See you next Thursday, same time, 8 a.m. Eastern. We will be back with the next month's talks. We'll be out of mental health and we'll be moving on to the next thing. Got to lock in to find out. See you then.
In the silence of the night, when doubt creeps in, I hear that.